welcome to this very special edition of Three Dudes Brews. This is our first annual hard cider throwdown. We are happy to be joined by the lovely home of Costas. And we also have a lovely guest, a lovely special judge this evening. We will not be competing for any trophies or speaking to any brewers, but just rating them. Next.
Next, like we're going to go down the line, right? So, we scoured Rhode Island. Costas there went out on some ventures, and we tried to bring a pretty good selection of local representation of ciders. We have different styles. We're going to do a couple rounds today. We're doing 3 or 4 rounds.
We're going to be doing 3 rounds, 4 samples each round for a total of 12 samples. These were selected based on samples that we had already had at previous breweries, cideries, wineries, vineyards throughout the state of Rhode Island and nearby Connecticut and Massachusetts. And these are the ones that made the cut.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go ahead and, I believe, start with our first pour.
So, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to start opening, I guess we'll just run down the quick list of who we got as we go, I guess. So, so the first one we've got is this actually it? It's from Newport Vineyard. We're in Middletown, Rhode Island. So this is the Rhode Coyote. It's a 7% alcohol by volume cider, 100% locally grown apples. Very crisp, very, very bright, very effervescent. That's always a great word. It's like aluminum, folks. You're never going to get it right all the time.
We forgot to mention.
Hi.
So we got Zoe.
Well, that's a special guest. You said I was a special guest.
Zoe's usually behind the camera.
Yeah.
Zoe doesn't like to be in front of the camera, but we wanted to get
behind the scenes
a woman's perspective as well today. So it's not just the 3 dudes; it's 3 dudes and a lady.
And a lady.
A younger perspective, a female perspective.
Yes.
So
I guess we'll keep pouring. So the next is Soam Cider Works out of Warren, Rhode Island. This is a very special one, folks. Spencer was kind enough to give us this unreleased, that's right, unreleased cider. So is batch number 226. Called All In. It is 8.1% ABV. Again, all locally grown apples. He's been aging this since 2022. Blend of several apple varieties. So Spencer there likes to grow apples. He's got plenty of trees. So
2 acres.
I bet. And
2 acres of trees.
If you're not from Rhode Island or the southern New England area, you wouldn't know that. This is a very apple-y region. We have our very wide selection of apples that we grow, specifically in September.
Yeah. So, the first little fun fact, first cider in America was actually 9 years after Plymouth Rock. And it was here.
They didn't waste no time.
No, they didn't waste any time. So when they got here, they started planting apple trees. And because of the large homesteads, all the homesteads, they tend to have orchards. Had apple trees, and the cider, even the kids drank it because it was a lot of the times it was safer to drink than the water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's
kids.
Hey, it's
I think Johnny Appleseed is from Massachusetts as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I
could be
learned that
mistaken.
in elementary school. I'm pretty sure.
I think I heard that though. So more apple-y facts.
And I mean, apples are definitely my favorite fruit. I think especially if you grew up in this region, you can't go fall without going apple picking, going out in the orchards and getting some. It's indicative of this area. So next we have Tapped Apple out of Westerly, Rhode Island.
Ooh.
This is first bite. It is another 8% ABV. Off-dry hard cider. Costas, you want to explain that to me? What's an off-dry hard cider?
I have no idea, but I know what a dry.
We know what a dry hard ciders are. So maybe it's just a little little off
It's a little
from
off.
the dry side. It's a little sweet.
I would say if
We'll find
looking at the label on
Medium.
off dry, I would probably
Medium.
correlate that to
Slightly
a
off.
Slightly off.
semi-sweet or semi-dry.
So
It's a little bit sweet. If you look at the
Right.
bottom of the can, it has like a
Indicator, yeah.
grating.
Yeah, it's grating on
so
that.
instead of it being all the way on the dry side, it's just a little
A
off.
little dry.
So
I do have a
last
dry side.
but not least, we have Woodchuck Hard Cider from Middlebury, Vermont. So
Yes.
we're still in New England, folks.
Yeah.
This is amber. This is one of the lowest ones of this round. Of only 5% ABV, made with some sweet red apples.
Take it.
So
Mm.
this one. And listen, most people don't realize too. Apple ciders can range anywhere from 3% on the low end to 8. I mean, obviously we saw Spencer's there was 8.1, and Tapped Apples another 8%. So usually that's the higher end. Usually tends to be around 8.
Let me ask you, Costas, you being a cider guy, a cider brewer, how do you make your ciders more alcoholic?
To increase the amount of alcohol in any type of fermentation, you need additional sugar. When I'm making ciders, what I can do to increase the alcohol and also to increase the apple flavor, you can add like an apple concentrate, like your mom used to have those, Seneca brand or those apple juice concentrates that goes in, and you just cut up in the can and you dump that in, and you reconstitute it with water and bring it up to where it needed to be. Or you can add additional sugar. You can add any type of anything that ends with OSE, sucrose, regular plain sugar. You can add brown sugar, dark brown, light brown, molasses, any type of fermentable sugar.
What's the highest you've ever gone?
Highest I've ever
On
gone?
the apple. On the apple.
On an apple, I would say probably in the 7 to 8% alcohol by ABV, which is different than alcohol by volume versus alcohol by weight. There's two. During our research into hard ciders, we've come across many different interesting facts, and it's all based on alcohol by volume or alcohol by weight. The federal government versus local state regulations vary, and depending on where it's made, how it's made, even up to the alcohol content, carbonation on it, who is and is not allowed to make it. Anything below 6% ABV can be made by any brewery. Anything above the 6% alcohol by volume is done by a winery. So there's definitely a distinction in who brews what.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know, right?
Speaking about distinctions,
Let's get into it, guys. I mean, and we've been sitting here talking long enough, and let's
So
dive
the first one on the left
Yes.
is Newport Vineyards Rhode Coyote.
getting a little bit of honey in there.
Cheers.
Look at that scrumptious.
A little honey.
Zoe.
It's almost a clear color. You can see that it's carbonated. There's lots of bubbles in the glass.
Wow, that's sweet.
I can't believe this is 7%.
Wow, that's a crisp apple. That's delicious.
Very, very nice.
It's
And
very
it's 100% local apple.
light. It's very refreshing. It reminds me of drinking just regular apple juice.
Effervescent. Was this on the? Was this on the?
Effervescent.
Effervescent.
Is that word again? Aluminum.
No, everything every description that was on here came from either the bottles themselves or their
Yes.
websites.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
These are their words. We got them. We want to share it with
Yeah.
everybody, so you guys don't have
In
to.
comparison, if you look at the color of the Newport Vineyard, which is clear, it almost reminds me of a very light white wine.
Yeah.
And you compare that to the color of the Woodchuck Cider, which is a much darker, more
Sure.
golden color.
Yeah.
Could be the apples that they use. It could be a lighter. It could be a green apple. It could be like something that's a lighter in color.
I know. I wonder how the apples make a difference.
There are thousands of different types of apples, each one having its own distinct flavor and sugar content, and those will all affect how it turns out. I like sweets. So I'm more of a sweet, but I do. Which is the irony is when I drink my ciders, I do like dry cider.
Dry ciders.
Mhm.
I'm more me personally. I'm more of an English style dry cider kind of person. Sometimes there are certain national brands of cider which are back sweetened. They add sugar to it to make it sweet. And
Cheaters.
That's the American palate. Everything has
to have extra sugar in it.
Yeah.
This is definitely sweet. This is,
Well, I mean, a
This is
spoonful of sugar
sweetness.
does make the medicine go down.
This is really like clean sweet.
That's good.
I like it.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like this.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm a cider guy to begin with, so I mean, this is very tasty.
Mhm.
So now going back to the, I think you said something about the old English there. The Brits, they like their cider. They like their ciders, so they
strong and like
yes, they still have a very booming cider following over there. In the U.S., it was big, like we talked about earlier on. It was huge in the beginning, and then it kind of died out right around Prohibition started. Temperance movement there kind of died out, weaned out, and went from brewing a ton of it to maybe not so much, and it kind of died out. But I think it's making a comeback.
yeah.
I think so too. And it's the time of the year. It's the time.
Well, and that's it. So that brings up a good question. Zoe said the time of the year. You guys think this is strictly like a fall drink, or is this something you would drink all year round?
No, I would drink this all. Dave sells a cider all year round. It's very.
I would definitely drink cider
all year round.
or all year round. My only thing is around here, we have our seasons.
Yeah.
Availability of things.
The availability of fresh produce, fresh apples to actually make a fresh cider.
Yeah.
Again, we've had this conversation, with pumpkin beers, ciders, things of that nature, like maple infused items.
Oh god.
Around here, those things are only available during certain seasons.
Yeah.
So if you're drinking a cider in April, May, June, where do those apples come from?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like people that are eating strawberries in December. We know where they're coming from. They're not here.
And I love local.
Yeah,
To know that at least two of these locally sourced their own apples is very cool.
I
It
think
makes sense.
I think everybody, you should always go as close to your source as possible. Now, me, let's move on.
What were you
I'll
gonna
keep
say?
going. I'm going to get back to
Did
it.
you drink cider earlier though?
So I do. So what I do is when I'm looking for something other than a beer, I reach for a cider. That's usually what I do. If I got to change things up a little bit, I got to break up the monotony. I got to.
Especially if you can't have gluten or you don't like the yeast flavor, like IPAs. I feel like ciders are good.
It's something different. It's something else. It kind of
This is good.
revitalizes the palate.
It's juicy. If you're looking for something like juice, a lot of times we'll look at, and discussing beer, IPAs, double IPAs, stuff like that. People are, juicy. I want something that's really, I'm not an IPA guy, but when I want something juicy, sometimes I'll look for an IPA because it'll have that. So that's what I want. In the case where I'm looking for something juicy, apple cider.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
It's light. It's usually refreshing. It's usually a lower alcohol by volume, so you're able to drink more of it in hot weather without necessarily getting too intoxicated.
Yeah. I'm getting that.
So let me tell you, this 226, Spencer, good job on that one.
Yeah.
Definitely it's drier than the first.
Yes.
Right? So when we talk about, if it's dry or sweet, the biggest thing is that, you get that sticky kind of feeling after, and no, we're not talking use how to can of Coke, but, it's the drier side tends to be more of a crisp, clean. You don't really notice it after you've had your sip versus the sweet where kind of lingers a little bit. It's got a little bit more mouthfeel. I don't necessarily want to say mouthfeel, but it can be a little bit more.
It's dry. It's dry.
Yeah, a little smoother. If you like your wines,
It's good.
compare this to like a dry red versus like a Riesling.
Yes.
Like I'm saying,
Yes.
anything below 6 is considered a malt beverage. Anything above 6 is considered a wine. So I believe this would fall into the wine wine category.
Right.
At 8%, this would be 16.
It's I'm sorry.
But it's not drinking like 8%.
No, this is not drinking.
No.
So,
All right. Let me put it this way. Your typical double IPA is in the 8%
Right.
ABV,
That's
right?
what I'm usually.
Does this feel like you're drinking?
No.
I can taste
Mine
it.
don't sound that at all.
Yeah, I can taste that. This I can't.
this,
Taste
let me tell you, no.
Dangerous.
Exactly.
Dangerous.
This thing will creep up on you.
For
You
sure.
sit down, you have a big glass of this. Next, you know, you go to get up, and you're like, "Whoa!"
It's not like a boom
No.
apple flavor.
No.
It's not a big bang.
Not a punch.
It's not a big punch in the face.
Right.
It's like the essence of apple.
But
No, but you still could tell it. You could tell
you
it's
can tell it's apple cider.
No, it's a cider.
With some alcohol content.
It says it's just a blend of several apples, and it tastes through the dry. It's like a little sweetness
Right.
in the back of that, which is really good.
Oh yeah.
And this is aged. This is from 2022. So
That's awesome.
I tend to age my ciders when I'm making them as well. It brings out some subtle nuances. Different characteristics. From something that's newer and fresher versus something that's been sitting around for a while and kind of age.
How are we scoring this?
By apples.
So
By apples.
we're doing 1 to 5 apples. Where
Okay.
1 is obviously the lowest apple you could possibly get, and you think twice about taking a bite. Versus 5, where we want a bushel, right?
That's all right.
So on to the third. Again, tapped apple.
Mustard. I wonder where they get their apples from.
I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to break that up.
Local, it says, right?
It says local.
Yep.
Grown there.
Oh, sorry. You got the reach in front of the face, and
So,
all you professionals out there are going, "What is he doing?
Cheers.
Walking
Cheers.
about 10 years." So tapped apple, first bite,
First bite.
another 8%. Now,
Another 8%
oh, that's good.
off dry hard cider. So let's see what they mean by off dry.
I get what they mean by
It's a
off
little
dry now
sweeter.
that I've
So-
had it. Compared to Spencer's.
so Spencer's, not as carbonated as the first, and as this one, but good. Definitely, like I said, both of them easy drinking. Yep. Spencer's over at Solom Cider Works, definitely on the drier side. This one, this is the off dry, and it is. It's off dry. It's not as dry as the last, but it's not super sweet.
No, I get it.
Right?
Right.
You get it.
Get it.
Makes more sense. Right? It's one of those things. Until you taste it, you just don't know.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
those-
good gradient though.
I'm picking up something in the back, and I can't figure out what it is. I'm not really sure. The color on it is beautiful. I love the carbonation.
It's like champagne color.
Yeah. Right. It's crystal clear. It's got a little more color than I could say than the
It does indeed.
than the Rhode Coyote from
Rhode Coyote was pretty clear.
this one here.
Yeah.
Off white almost.
Yeah. See that?
Now, going back to color. We all eat with our eyes first. We drink with our eyes first. If somebody sat down, we haven't gotten to woodchucks yet, but they set down a woodchuck and they set down a new pork, which one are you grabbing first? Just off a vision.
Based on color.
Just based on color.
I'm going for a cider. I'd go to the woodchuck because it's going to be like that golden color and that atypical. This is a good cider. Where clear is something. I don't know what to expect.
It's almost got the color of a beer, right? So it's got that kind of golden,
Yeah.
light color. But it can be deceiving. If I'm seeing that, if I'm seeing that, I'm going to say, okay, that's going to pack a punch, and I'm expecting a lot from it based on the color, right? So I'm going to expect, boom, big apple right up front. I'm going to expect, in this case, I know it's going to be, I'm expecting sweet, right? So looks can, again, be deceiving. And I'm gonna look at that and say that those are probably darker apples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
Just because the variety comes into play.
Sweeter, because the first three were. I mean, the first one was sweet, but
Well, apples are also going to oxidize, so you're going to get that brown color to it. So, maybe that's part of it. Maybe
I'm
that's got something
thinking-
to do with it.
I'm all for the color. I like the color. Don't get me wrong. I'm thinking when I first see the Snow White is that first bite into a nice crisp,
Like the
apple.
flesh of an apple.
Yeah, you take that Snow White, you get that nice Macintosh or something like that. So you get that crunch, you get that Snow White on the inside.
Mhm.
That's what the first one. That's what Newport made you kind of reminded me of.
This stuff.
But yeah, I mean, so far not a bad apple in the bunch.
Where is Tapped Apple in Wesley? Where is that? Did you go to Wesley and get that?
No, I actually went to. I didn't have time to go to Tapped Apple itself. So I went to Nikki's Liquors.
Oh, you get it.
Oh, Nikki's.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nikki's Liquors.
So
Cheers, Nikki's.
cheers, Nikki's. So Nikki's, I've been going there for years. I get my kegs, my kegerator from them. Great folks. If you guys haven't been there, is that still Branch?
Yeah, they used to be the shores. So
Yeah. So they're in Providence, Branch Ave. Let me tell you, great people, great selection. We're not even getting paid to say this, folks. But let me tell you,
It's good stuff.
you want to go check it out. If you haven't been there, you need to go stop in and say hi.
I would say that the Woodchuck Hard Cider Amber. It's a lower ABV, coming in at 5.
But the flavor's there.
It's the lowest out of these 4. The flavor is there. It's also a lot sweeter.
Yes,
Definitely.
it is. It's
Yes, it's
much
definitely.
The
sweeter.
other ones, I
Definitely.
would say that this is typical of what you would see in mass market.
Mass markets. Yeah.
Again, trying to entice people in with sweets, that sugar that everybody's craving all the time. So
So I'm curious as to how far they actually distribute. Kind of curious if they're in just the New England area or
Yeah.
if they go outside. Now, while this is the lowest, now this is a credit to the others. I think is that get 2 8%ers in the bunch.
right.
In Newport 7,
Yeah.
they didn't drink any harsher,
No.
right?
But with beer, usually you can tell right away.
Yeah, you have a stronger beer versus a weaker
Punches
beer,
right in the face.
and you know about it. These things. Let me tell you, folks, this is where the danger comes in because it goes down so smooth.
Yeah.
It's like candy,
Always.
right?
Yeah.
So
As they run, I think that the flavor kind of changes them as well.
again, it goes back to like the English ales and stuff like that. Where drinking them is cold. People think every beer needs to be drank ice cold. It's the same thing I think with every cider. Every cider is meant to be served at the same temp. I know Spencer said he told us. I mean, well, he didn't tell us specifically, but he told Zoe and Darren, take it out for a little while first. You don't want to drink this thing,
Not ice cold.
not ice cold.
Not room temperature. Find a happy medium.
So stay tuned because we may have to do a little bit more with Spencer there. Spencer, if you're watching, I hope you are.
Oh yeah, dude.
We're gonna have to have a whole episode dedicated just to you, my friend.
Can't wait to have
Yeah.
Examples.
Nothing against the Woodchuck Hard Cider. I mean, they make fantastic ciders. It's just that it is a mass market run. It is local, so it's Vermont.
Yep.
I know it's still New England, guys.
Yep. Still is.
And that's what we're about.
Close to
But
choice.
it is. It's slower alcohol. It is sweeter. I think it's geared more towards mainstream mass market.
Mhm.
So, but
like you said,
and again,
it's
it is from a price point. It's also less expensive.
Well, and that's the benefits of being mass market. I mean, the bigger your market share, the lower you can charge.
the production of it all.
But that's just it, though. They're not as hands on either.
Also, don't forget that apples are expensive. So cider costs quite a bit of money to make.
As opposed to just grains.
Right.
Yeah.
Barley, grains, hops, malt, all these things that will go into beer. Apples. When's the last time you guys went to an apple orchard? I know that we recently went and
We did.
What was it? Half a peck was $28.
Yeah.
So for locally grown apples, and I get it, it's family owned and they're local farms and support small business, and we're all about that.
Yes.
But
I probably spent like $75 in apples that day.
yeah,
I mean,
I totally agree.
but they taste better.
Oh yeah, they leaps and bounds. In
How many apples would you put in a batch of cider?
Well, I wouldn't go and actually take and like have to press my own apples. I would just go in.
Frozen apples.
So the
A couple
concentrate.
gallons of cider.
Yeah, a couple of, like you could,
Cider and
you
concentrate.
can ferment any volume of cider. I try to do at least 3 gallons. I have a sweet tooth and I like sweeter things.
Yes.
I like to use the honey crisp
Oh, those are my favorites.
apple juice, and
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
blend that with some apple cider.
Those are my
Yes.
favorites.
I love the tartness of a honey crisp. It's just that, again, it's crisp. It's got that it just feels fresh. Really, really love that. And cider, Jaswell's Farms, what is it?
Yeah.
Barney's, all of the farms that are locally around here have some fantastic apples. You got Phantom Farms. They're just, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you haven't gone apple picking or pumpkin picking, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
Especially if you got
You're in
access.
New England and you're in Rhode
Very
Island,
close.
you can't
You need to.
not do that.
You need to.
It's a seasonal thing. Support local again. It's my found. This matters because these families have been around for generations and generations.
There's a lot of them that weren't open this year. They didn't offer, come and pick your own this year because I don't know if it was just demand hasn't been there, if it's employment, staffing issues, if it was harvest, whatever the issues
A
were.
lot of times it's weather dependent.
That's just it. There were a lot of there were a few places that we normally go to in the area that weren't available. So support your local farmers, folks. They really are feeding all of us. So, last time I checked, most of us aren't growing our own food. So you need a farmer out there.
Right.
So are we ready to score?
I believe we are.
We're ready to wrap up round 1. All right. So
Are we scoring on camera?
Yeah.
And
yeah, we gotta let the folks at home know. So Zoe's so cute. She actually drew her apple.
I did. I drew my apples for my rating.
So I think Casas is still wrapping it up there. So that's okay. You guys finish up. Ladies first. So Zoe.
Not okay.
Well, I thought we were going to just tally them all up.
Oh,
how
tally up
do
the
you know this?
apples? That's a good idea.
We're going to tally them all up, and
You don't want to. You didn't want to go one by one.
no, I think we're going to tally it all
A lot
up.
of planning goes into these
As-
episodes, folks.
We're going to tally that. That's what we're going to do. We're going to tally it all up.
Okay.
We are going to, as a collective group, give our total ratings.
Nice.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. That works. So
Okay.
we have the results from round 1. As you can see, we've kind of reset everything. We're getting ready for round 2. Cleaned our glasses, cleaned our palettes, and we've got everything ready. So Zoe's going to announce the results from round 1.
So they went in order of how we tasted them, funny enough. Newport Vineyard came in at first with 16.5 apples. And So-Am Cider Works was 14. Tapped Apple was 13.5. And then the Woodchuck ended up being 13. So
And that's
only by
on-
half
That's
an
on
apple.
a total of a potential 20 apples.
20 apples.
Mhm.
Total.
Mhm.
Amongst the crowd.
A perfect score.
Those were pretty good apples.
Yes, Lord.
Some pretty good apples.
Exactly. It goes to show you, though, how everybody's palates and tastes kind of change. Because, for example, I had So-Ams at the top of my list,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Newport really
I
hit
think
Newport.
Zoe and I were shared a couple times.
I think that
Mhm.
Newport and So-Ams were definitely up there.
Definitely up there.
They're
Mhm.
definitely above, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that we would go out and purchase again.
Yes.
That's a good start of the run. That's for sure.
I know. I'm impressed.
If that's the way the next 2 rounds are going to go, I'm looking forward to this next round. So,
All right. So we're going to start with that being said.
It was very well tonight.
So, first one for round 2 that we're going to start pouring is we got our good friend Mark over at Six Pack Brewing in Bristol, Rhode Island. So we have Max Pumpkin Spice Hard Cider at a whopping 6% ABV. Mark's a great guy. If you haven't had the chance yet to head down to Six Pack Brewing, please do yourself a favor, go down there. And while you're there, hey, guess what? Drop off some non-perishable food. Mark will give you $1 off your beer, right? So we've got the Brews Giving going on right now where we're collecting donations for St. Edward's Church over on Branch Ave in Providence.
Mhm.
So if you find yourself able to, you swinging by Six Pack to have some cider or some beer, bring something along with you. A box of stovetop, can of peas, something. Anything's better than nothing. Okay? So we've got, that's our first one. Second one that's going to be coming up here in a minute is Bravo Brewing. They are down in Pasco, Rhode Island. It's a hard apple cider, 6.5% dry sparkling cider is how they describe it. So we'll get that poured off here, and we'll see how this goes. I mean, so far so good. I mean, like first round went pretty smooth. Right?
Bravo's better.
Bravo is veteran owned. So many of you know I'm an Air Force veteran myself, retired Air Force active duty. And the good folks over there at Bravo are also veterans. And we like to support wherever we can, and you should too. You know, a lot of sacrifices our armed forces folks make. No matter what you think, if it's good or bad, you can't deny the fact that there's a lot of things that they do that most of us, you know, out there frankly aren't willing to do. So somebody's got to do it, and we step up. So the next one is Tapped Apple.
This is our second
Another Tapped Apple.
second
Tapped Apple.
Japanese apple.
So out of West City, Rhode Island. This is a black currant, 8% ABV. It's a carbonated hard cider with black currants. Call me crazy, right?
Ooh.
So yeah, we talked about that visual.
That's beautiful.
Right? And we talked about eating with your eyes first, and this is definitely going to stand out from the other food.
Yeah.
Being that black currant.
What's a black currant?
It's a fruit.
Oh.
I think it's little,
I believe it's like a berry.
tiny berries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know much about currants.
Usually they're dry.
Yeah, usually currants are usually found dry.
We'll throw a little fun fact in there of black currants for you guys, and
I think it falls in the same line, same family as like a raisin.
A cranberry.
yeah, I mean, you hear of a lot of beers that use the barrel aged. You know, you hear they got currants and notes and stuff like that. So number 4 for this round is from Trillium Brewing, one of their locations out of Canton, Mass. They've got several, and we all know Buddy is a big fan of Trillium. So of course, Buddy had to go out there, and this one's called Daily Serving. Because we all know an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
I don't know how. I don't quote me. I could be wrong. From what I understand, Rhode Island has different brewing or brewery requirements for cider. So I think it has to be with the pasteurization or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So they could not actually brew a cider. So this is actually a Berlin of Ice, which has tons of apples in it. So you kind of, what is it? Berlin of Ice. So you're getting
Nice.
I love a good
Hi. So you're getting. It's technically a beer, but they've put so many apples into it.
We're throwing it into the mix.
We're throwing it into the mix.
It pours like a beer too. I thought that.
It does. Yeah, it does pour like a beer because it is a beer, but it is a.
So you notice, folks, right?
So
right, Little Big Five.
Smells like a beer.
Well, you notice this one's got a head on it, right? So
yeah. Now, if you look at the one from 6-pack, there's a little bit of haze to it. There's not much carbonation going on there. That could just be from, can versus draft. Bravo. There's some. It's almost a pear color to it. There's definitely some carbonation going on there. It's going to be very bubbly, very effervescent.
Look at this.
The Tapped Apple. I mean, come on, look at that color. Look at the color. Look at the bubbles. Very, very effervescent. It looks great. And this guy here almost looks like a very juicy, hazy, light IPA. If I had to look at something like that, I would say that's a very light IPA. So, shall we with the 6-pack?
Of course, with 6-pack, we have to get one of our dogs in our camera. So this is Casas' dog, BB.
This is BB.
Say hi, BB. BB wants to get up here and take some sips. But, of course, we never
She wants to get another mix.
But, and there she goes. Bye, baby.
That's so.
BB has a tendency to hop in my lap every time I'm here.
Oh, Mark, you definitely outdid yourself.
We'll get the spice.
Now, this is a pumpkin spiced hard cider coming in at 6% alcohol by volume. So it is a hard cider.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
it's
Oh, I can taste the pumpkin. Okay.
it does no pumpkin.
No.
It's pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice.
You know, it's just
So it's like somebody took.
Really?
So when a daddy pumpkin beer and a mommy hard cider
And mommy
really
alcohol.
love each
Sorry
other,
about it.
this is what happens.
Mhm.
So to me,
This is the love child of a hard cider and a pumpkin beer.
Mhm.
this is the
Oh,
best slice of apple pie you have. This is
Oh,
awesome.
It's not even apple pie because
No,
it's
I know,
pumpkin
but it tastes
slice.
it tastes because of the pumpkin spice.
Right.
Oh,
This tastes like the best apple pie you'll have.
so apple pumpkin pie.
It is.
Right?
It's actually
It's
quite
so
scrumptious.
good.
Oh my
That-
goodness.
to Mark, that is so good, dude.
Really
And it's
got
6%.
you got you know what you guys
shocks
all
me.
crushed it already. You really got to
Yeah.
swirl it around you.
No.
Really
Oh,
let all
this-
the flavors
dude, I can base in that between Toro.
single.
I'm not swirling anything. I felt it.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is one of those where I want like
So a big one.
several
Like, I want like a
large,
16 ounce.
Several
bar.
large
Yeah,
apples.
what
All
is
right, that's great. If that's
Rest-
All right, but now is it right?
but let's
Holy Christmas.
We've got more. We've got 3 more to go this round,
There's
folks.
3 more. So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
there's 3 more.
Continue.
Yes, that's
Bravo, bravo,
you can
bravo.
continue, right?
Bravo, yeah.
Bravo.
Bravo.
So this is the offering from Bravo Brewing. This is their hard apple cider. It's a dry sparkling cider. So this should not be very sweet. Right. Yamas.
Shindan.
Cheers.
Oh,
Buddy.
cheers.
Don't spill. Eek. Waste not, want not.
So dry,
Mm.
where it's dry sparkling. That's how they're advertising it. So I'm expecting it to not be sweet.
Okay.
I'm definitely expecting carbonation.
You like- you're gonna like this.
Carbonation from there.
This,
It's got some beautiful bubbles on the top.
That-
there.
That's
I think so far, out of everything we've had so far,
oh, it's this.
first round of this one, obviously we're only 2 into this round, but this has got to be the most heavily carbonated
Yes.
out of all of them.
Mhm.
And I would say the driest.
Definitely the
I
driest.
agree.
Right.
Definitely the driest.
We get the apple in the back
This is-
afterwards.
I think this is something I would give somebody that says they don't like cider. And that's not a bad thing. I
I would have to know. I would have to know why they don't like cider
True.
Mhm.
But
to know what direction to necessarily go.
I don't think this is a big apple flavor though, as some of the others.
No, it's very dry. It's 6.5. So again,
I do like it.
with that 6% ABV rule, this technically falls into the realm of a wine.
Yes.
Into that a little bit more.
You know, it is very, very dry. You know,
It's so sparkling.
But-
But I like
the
it.
yeast in this reminds me of something else though. Buddy, we were talking like the
Well, the
farmhouse
champagne.
stuff, like almost like champagne.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of like some of the farmhouse, like
Yeah.
the yeast strains that they use. It's very noticeable, yeast, very distinguished. And
yes, that's one. As a brewer, that's one way that you can dry things out is by picking the yeast that has a higher alcohol tolerance.
Mhm.
You know, like when I make my meads, and you know, I'll use a champagne yeast because it can tolerate 17 to 18% alcohol by volume.
before they start,
You know, and that's when you end up being dry. If you're using, if you have a potential alcohol of 6, 7, 8%, and you're using yeast that only goes up to 3,
Yeah.
those uneaten sugars are what's going to sweeten without back sweetening. Your cider, your beer, whatever you might be.
the mad scientist over there.
I feel like this is like on a spectrum of cider. This is like one end. And
Yes.
This one, or this one are completely at the opposite.
Yes, yeah.
It is very dry, but you do get the apple in the back of it a little bit. But
You're saying the ends of the spectrum, but is that spectrum dry? And
one end, like say, one end is really dry. Oh, I don't know. It's
dry and sweet, or are we talking like little apple to
Big apple.
boom apple?
like maybe little apple to big apple. Or maybe,
Yeah.
But I,
So we're comparing apples to apples,
yeah.
Apples to apples,
Yeah.
yeah.
and not apples to oranges. So
Right, right.
I really like it though.
But
I
No,
really
it's
do.
good. And
I feel like you could do a lot with this.
And that's just it. I want to say, when I say, it's just something I would give folks that say they don't like cider.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it
Let's say
doesn't taste like cider. It's something that, yeah, exactly. I think it's just got more of appeal, than some of the others. It's
I
nice,
think
sweet.
it's more winey.
It's
Yeah.
exactly. It's got a different flavor because
does.
the yeast in there. It's a little crisp. I like it. I think it's good.
Makes me think of champagne almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. It's,
All right, we've talked about this one enough.
Yeah.
Moving on
onto our currents.
to tapped apples.
Tap
Black
number 2.
currants. Cheers. Hey, looking up your
okay.
One of these days we're gonna spill something. It's not today.
Oh, not today. He's got a beautiful nose on it.
Oh.
It's got a beautiful color. You can definitely see that.
Still bubbling away.
I know, I love it.
It's bubbling pretty well. It's been sitting there for a while now, and it's very,
Let's get this.
very
Extreme close up.
I definitely taste the berry, that sour berry.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'm pretty sure Proclamation has some kind of brew with a black currant.
Yeah. It's a very
It's a
Definitely
popular,
sweet.
yeah, it's a good match.
it's a very
Definitely
popular
sweet.
beer. It's sweet and tart at the same time.
Right?
Mhm.
Sure.
I like this.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's different. too.
And well, let's not forget this is also at 8% ABV.
It is.
Which, again, I would never.
So technically, this falls into the realm of a wine
It's a wine.
based on government.
Lord.
Listen,
Stupid.
thank you legalese out there, right? All you legal eagles, you make things a little bit harder than they need to be. Okay, so when we say, it's a malt beverage or it's a wine, we're going off of the legal definition. That's all we're doing.
This is just
Okay,
making us
please
fancy.
don't send in the hate mail in the comments saying it's a cider. We know it's cider. Peanut butters. Okay,
This is a cider challenge.
this is a cider challenge.
That's why I made it. That. Oof. Oh, that is
Oh man,
That is good though.
good.
it is.
Definitely
it's-
not something I would have thought was.
And even though it's carbonated,
8% by
I'm
tasting
not
it,
feeling very
Gassy.
very gassy. I'm not feeling
Mhm.
very carbonated.
Start floating away.
It's sweet without being overwhelming or overpowering.
You're right there, buddy.
It's
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's very dry. It dries me right out.
It
Do
is.
you think this one hit very dry?
Yeah.
I think this is a little bit on the sweeter side.
I think it's the sour.
The
in
sour
it.
and
The
the
sour
sour,
in
yeah.
it's
It's that-
deep through like that.
It's
Yeah,
it's
Like the roof
exactly.
of my mouth is
That-
tart.
Is it the
Yes.
pucker factor?
It is.
yes,
Pucker
yes.
factor.
Maybe that's
Trademark.
why I'm kind of appealed. This appeals to me because of that pucker factor, that sourness,
Loves a pucker.
that tart of the black currants
Yeah.
blended with this hard cider. Delicious.
It is delicious. It's good.
Man.
That was almost all in unison, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful.
I do taste the apple a little bit more than that last set, but
All right.
You really got to get it all in there.
don't show shit up.
Yes.
Cheers.
He
Okay.
went
Last but not least,
Buddy picked this up,
From-
right?
yeah, this is.
He spelled it.
Oh,
With the dogs.
Yeah.
See, we put it out there in
Always
the
that one
universe
guy.
Mm-hmm.
where we said
You
we're not going to
manifested
spill
that.
anything today, and
Manifested that.
we kind of did. So,
It's all right. I'll get 2 more days to take my shower.
Sip it.
Okay.
All right. So again, this is Trillium Brewing from Canton, Mass. This is daily serving.
Oh wow.
It's a 4% ABV
Right.
What is
apple
that?
cider
It's
Berliner Weiss. It's only 4% alcohol, so this should be very easy
so
to
it's
drink.
like
It almost looks like a hazy IPA.
it's a beer.
It is definitely a beer.
I'd say it's a beer.
But it's like a beer cider.
It's like a beer cider.
But
Yeah.
that's just it, right? And that's what we talked about, where we go the whole gamut from 3%.
It's really good, huh?
8% is usually the range.
Well, I think two.
When was the last time any of us had a 4% anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no,
I-
When I was 12 years old.
Right? I remember my first beer.
day drinking.
When I go to
That's good
breweries,
though.
I tend to look for the lower
Well, if
ABVs because
we know we're going on a marathon session, right?
I know, but like cream
He's a
ales.
lower. Yeah.
I'm,
You like
I'm not
the sours that are
No,
4.5,
sweet as
the
easy.
cream ales. Yeah.
cream
The
ales,
pilsners.
sours. I more flavor, less punch for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
You
But-
enjoy. Yeah.
This is different.
This
what I-
this is very very
I
different.
like it a lot.
That's what I mean. I'm like, this
The
is
nose on
interesting. I
it
like it.
is unique. I love the smell of it.
But it's got almost like a
I can't.
Like a wheat,
like a cream.
Yeah.
right? Like,
I almost wanted to say coffee, but I know it's not coffee.
No, it's like a vanilla cream ale. It's like
but it's got like cereal notes at the end.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
Right.
I wonder
Or
if
if it's like lactose in it.
lactose. I was just gonna say I wonder if there's lactose
maybe
in it.
that could be.
I like
It's
how
got a
it's like
beautiful
4
mouthfeel.
different flavors. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is very
it does.
complex.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
This is definitely not a simple drink. I mean, there's a lot going on in this thing.
I know. I can see why you go up to Trillium now.
I love
And it's
Trillium.
not
They have a multitude of beers. They have 4 of these daily servings. They change it about every month or so.
Mhm.
It's a different fruit special. And then they have the farmhouse are really sour sours.
Mm.
And then they have like the bevy of IPAs. And then they have the bevy of stouts, which
We have to have a day trip. We have to have a day trip. Yeah.
Now, buddy, you're not just talking as a fanboy, though, are you?
No. A fanboy? What? No. What? No.
No, this is really good, and I would love to try
So,
those
so
sours.
for those of you who don't know Buddy, if Buddy doesn't like it, Buddy will not drink it.
Oh, buddy, will let you know.
Buddy will let you know. Okay?
Buddy will drink it, but then Buddy's like, no, this is garbage.
Well,
I
Buddy
waste of
never
beer.
waste a
There
beer.
are sober
He'll
children
get-
in India
finish
who would
it.
love to be drinking
He'll
that
finish
beer,
it.
you know?
Exactly.
But he's not going to pour a second.
Right.
Well, he might, but he still won't like it.
Maybe if I just need
Ah.
liquor.
He'll hate it the whole time.
Yeah.
And he'll power through.
Maybe if there's nothing else in the house, like if that's like all that's left,
Oh,
So,
maybe.
lady and
Oh.
gentlemen,
let me score this one.
I see. Well,
I gotta try my apple.
Pause for station
This one's
identification,
hard.
right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we vote on this? Obviously, this is for your own personal preference, right?
Mhm.
But these run the broad range of the spectrum. Dry, sweet with fruit. This is a beer. So how do you qualify which one is better?
And this is where our different palates will definitely
Right.
sing.
This is where
I'm more of a sweet guy. You're more of a dry guy. So yeah, there's
so
gotta change it.
I'm more tart. You're more,
You're a little bit country. He's a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a little heavy metal.
Mhm.
So
Gotta represent.
so it's going to be interesting to see where we all fall on the rating of these beers
Mhm.
because how do you judge?
I know.
You're going to judge differently than how I'm going to judge.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
I'm going to like certain things, and you're not.
But also, you guys are much more experienced, and
Well,
you have a different understanding of of the palette of what you're looking for. So I wonder if it'll be similar standings. I don't know.
Let me tell you this though. For me, this round, nothing got below a 4 apple.
I know.
Yeah, they're all
Nothing got below 4
I
apples.
know.
Yeah,
I'm giving out half
there's-
I'm not even
apples.
gonna-
Yeah.
I'm not
These are
even
all
kidding.
like killer ciders.
Right.
There's not well.
Even the beer.
you
This
know,
was a hell of a round.
I spent weeks researching ciders from around our region, and my liver is paying the price for that research. He'll be okay. It'll be fine. You know.
Go hang in
Drink
there.
lots of water again, right?
Yeah. Not every
It grows back.
You're whipping.
every cider in the state made the cut, but after trying
No.
many a cider, these are the ones that we came up with that. Were worth the 12 and that we picked or whatever that were worthy of us to or for us to sample and give you our opinion on these ciders.
This one's definitely
So Pasta suffered, so you don't have to.
Right.
You're similar to Jesus. I'll imagine that
Yes,
way.
not all
Yeah.
heroes wear capes.
Yeah. I can see that.
My
Did you
liver.
seriously just compare him to Jesus?
It's the holiday season.
Yes,
I don't know.
I walked.
You
on-
just lost like
You get drunk for your
Yeah, no,
sins.
Jesus.
Please.
Yeah, please. No hate mail. It's all, it's
There are
all
two things and only two things we don't talk about on this podcast: religion and politics.
The power
Smart.
of cost system.
No,
I'm just joking.
No,
all
we
right,
can't
let's
start.
tally up. Let's tally
Let's
up.
tally.
the score.
You walked on water. I walked on cider.
You walk
walked
on
on
there.
cider.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to tally up these. We're going to clean up. We'll reset for round 3, the last and final round,
Mm.
and we will give you the results of this in a few minutes.
And clean.
All right, we're back. So we've got the scores tallied for round 2, and the lovely Zoe is going to announce the ranking in the standings.
It's a real close call.
Right.
So
I'm not surprised.
I know. Trillium Brewing came in at 19.5.
Wow.
I know.
Damn near.
Somebody brought the red wine.
I know. Look at you, buddy. Look at you.
We're never going to hear the end of this.
No,
Yeah.
I know. He's already playing a day trip for us now.
Yeah.
Six Pack Brewing came in second with 19.
Half an hour.
Half an hour.
Wow.
And then Tapped Apple in Westerly was 16, and Bravo Brewing was 15.5. Another half of apples.
Like I said, though, not a single one
No.
below a 4.
No.
They were all fantastic. I mean, there really wasn't a bad apple in the bunch again. I mean, I guess. No, not at all. And I had 6-pack. I got to say this. They got a 5 apples out of me. I didn't think anybody was going to get a perfect 5 apples. And 6-pack did it. That's just me, though. But I mean, hey.
That was a good.
So, moving on to round 3. So we've got another 4. Now the 4th is
Mystery Cider X.
It is. I got this special ed.
Special ed.
It is special ed. Anyway, this is it's not. I'll say this. It's not one that we haven't had. So, the flavor, on the other hand, is going to be something to talk about.
Okay.
So, without further ado, let's kick off round 3. So, 1911 established is out of Lafayette, New York. It is their cider, donut hard cider, at a whopping 6.9% ABV. Now, in full disclosure, I've had this one.
As have I.
Now, I haven't ranked it amongst its peers, but I have had it. So, they say it's a hard cider blended with brown sugar and spices.
Ooh.
And definitely is. So, I'll talk more about it here in a bit. But yeah, I've had this one.
Ooh, brown sugar.
So, our second is from Down East Cider. It is their pumpkin blends. They're out of Boston, Massachusetts, Down East Cider. If you guys know me, I do like Down East. They were usually my go-to cider if I'm not drinking beers. I do like Down East. So this is a whopping 5.1% ABV. So not the lowest we've had, but definitely, among the lower end. Blend of apple, pumpkin, and chai spices.
Thank you.
So
Chai spices.
who does it? I mean, come on.
No,
So, again, I've had this one as well. We'll get to that. And then we have one from Black Pond Brews, who we just shot an episode with Corey over at Black Pond Brews. Great guy, great place. This is, they're out of Dayville, Connecticut. This is Alice Scooper. 4.7% ABV sour ale brewed with apple, cinnamon, apple cider donuts, and lactose. So if you guys haven't figured out yet, this round is basically the anything goes round. Right. This is the everything but the kitchen sink. Mm-hmm. So again, if you haven't had a chance to get out to Black Pond Brews, watch our episode, which will be airing before this one. Check them out. Great place, great spot. They have a full kitchen. Great menu. Great beers, great guy, great people. Go check them out.
And I'm going to interject, and I am going to say that I am absolutely in love with the black cans. Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at every other brewery's cans, they're all aluminum, and I'm sure that this is aluminum as well. But this, I'm sorry, but it is
it's something with a
sexy can.
Plus, why do you like them so much being big and black like that?
Well, I mean,
I love what's inside.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
What was that unicorn beer you had brought home?
Fluff up the jam from them?
Yes.
Fluff up the jam.
Oh my god.
Cotton candy sour.
Cotton candy sour from Black Pond Brews is a fantastic little beer. And
So
I
sour.
I don't know,
You can do that.
the color on the can just
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Go back to green.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just makes it look like so fancy. I don't say look. I didn't use the word like
Premium.
but
Premium.
yeah, premium. It
I
makes it,
feel fancy
it
with
bold,
this.
bold,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
you know, like
It stands out.
maybe a cut above. I don't know what's in
Yeah.
this can that makes it so special. It needs to be in
Black
such
Pond
a-
Bruce.
yeah.
Black
Right.
can.
black can,
Makes
black on
sense.
black.
Marketing genius.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, why not? So, if you notice, everybody's glasses are empty for the last one.
Number 4.
For number 4.
Should we wait till we get through?
We will get through the first 3, and then
Walk, walk,
we will break out Ed's secret special Ed surprises.
The flood sauce.
Okay?
Yeah,
And believe me,
I don't know about this.
it's going to bring about some discussion.
It's better not be like a ketchup apple cider.
It is not.
Mustard.
It is not. It is
Hot dog.
not. It is
No,
not.
won't be cucumber.
So,
Is this that Rhode Island wiener beer?
I'm not getting it. It is not the Rhode Island Wiener Beer.
No.
Although that does have me intrigued.
Oh.
Okay, so anyway, so moving on. First one.
9/11 established. This is the
I'm excited.
1911.
uh,
9/11.
I don't
yeah,
know.
no, man, 1911 cider
New York,
donut,
right?
hard cider. Yep, out of Lafayette, New York.
New York.
We had, it's New York or whatever. We
Oh.
had to include this in our tasting.
Wow.
It's not the Yankees, so
We've all had this, and
Holy snuggies.
this is something special.
Mm.
Oh,
I think we would all agree on this.
yeah. What is this a good one?
it's called cider donut.
Cider
Cider donut.
hard cider. It's a
It
cider,
makes your mouth.
a hard cider blend with brown sugar and spices.
That brown sugar gives you little notes of almost like syrup,
Mm.
almost
Mhm.
maple,
Yeah.
right?
The maple is
Yeah,
Maybe for sure. What's that? It's not.
Yeah,
Let's look
the
it up.
flavor on that.
Nutmeg, maybe? Nutmeg? Is that nutmeg in that?
It's it's
Awesome.
definitely got the brown sugar and molasses going on. There's so many layers of flavor on your cider. You get different notes in the front, then you get some of that brown sugar kind of molasses in the middle,
Right.
and then you get a little bit of that sweetness in the back. You get the spices in the
Yeah.
front. The nose on it is just wonderful.
It's a lot all working
There's
right,
a lot.
There's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
at the same time.
going
At
on
the same time, but it's.
with
But
this.
it's harmonious.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Right. So I never had 1911. This is the first year I've had 1911. I was at one of the local liquor stores, and I was looking for ciders to taste and try. And again, like I said 1,000 times already, I do like ciders when I'm out drinking beer. And so I saw this one, and this isn't the one that caught my eye,
Oh, really?
but
What, did no
It is
catch
one-
your
it
eye?
is
That's
one
special?
it is one that I wanted to try though.
Lightly
So-
carbonated. You can definitely see some bubbles on there. It's got a little bit of lacing. Little bit of lacing on
Look
the
at the lacing.
It almost has a lager type color to it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, clear golden color.
Mhm.
It's got a beautiful nose.
You definitely get a taste of the cidery donut,
Right.
Like the
And what screams fall like a cider donut?
Yeah.
I know.
Or I don't know what it is. It just tastes like it. Yeah, totally like a donut. I
Like a
it's
fritter almost.
The description, what's in the can matches the description
Right.
of what's
Mm-hmm, for sure.
on the
And that's where you start getting into some of these flavored ones. I'm not trying to cut you off, but you get into some of these flavored things, and we've talked about this before when we talked to Nicole and Crooked and stuff like that. Is that they say a lot of things sometimes. Oh, this is strawberry mango guava, and you have it, and you're like,
And
where?
chocolate, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it goes back to that truth in advertising, right?
Mhm.
So this one, cider donut, it tastes like a cider donut. Okay,
And I wonder too, like how it's going to compare to these ones with the different like color.
Right, and that's what's going to be difficult about this round again. Is
They're also
because
different.
it's not the same. It's not
Yeah.
4 dry
Mm.
ciders at the same exact alcohol content.
Mhm.
These are 4 significantly different. How does each one rate for your palate, your tasting?
Mhm.
If you like sweets, it's going to rank higher for you. If you like dries, a drier one is going to rank higher.
Mhm.
So it all depends on your palate and what pleases you.
Mhm.
What makes him happy doesn't make me happy.
No.
No.
What makes me happy isn't going to make him happy.
Mhm.
And that's
I'm just happy.
He's just
I'm just happy to be here.
he's happy.
So, we talked about the cider donuts. We talked about, it's fall. It's traditional around here in this area. So, we haven't really talked about food pairings. So when you guys are drinking these, I think fall because, I'm a New Englander and that's what happens. Apple season, fall, crisp air, cooler weather. Thank God the summer is finally over. It's not 110 degrees out. But what do you guys think of? What foods, what sweets, what treats, whatever do you think of when you start thinking apple cider? You start thinking
Pies all day, man. Cakes and pies.
Apple cider donuts, apple crisp, apple pie. I'm not to sound like Forrest Gump here, but
Yeah.
I like apples.
Apple gumbo.
Chili. It's that time of year where you wake up in the morning and it's crisp and cold outside, and then it kind of warms up in the afternoon. So you get the crock pot going first thing in the morning. You go to work, you work all day long, and you
It means so many soups.
chili, right? Soups. You start getting into warmer, hearty meals. You're not turning on your stove and heating up your house when it's 90 plus degrees outside in the summertime. You're not going to do that. So, you'll throw the crock pot on, like you said, some chilies. So you'll do some soups. A lot of like apple cider. When I think apple cider, I'm thinking pulled pork. Okay.
That's a cider thing. The apple cider vinegar and the pulled
Apple
pork.
cider vinegar, apples, applewood smoking. So the pairing,
See, I'm thinking like
is just classic.
mushrooms and
Right.
butternut squash and like roasted veggies.
Well, you're getting into the
root vegetables, winter season.
Root vegetables, yes.
So, you said chili.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had me chili. Do you make a chili?
I do indeed make a chili.
Buddy, do you make a chili?
Well, I have a recipe.
I thought you did an award-winning recipe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. You have an award-winning chili recipe?
Yes, I have an award-winning. It took place in the Phantom Farms chili competition amongst other restaurant holders and firemen who made their own chili. It won 5th place out of about 30 other competitors.
It wasn't ranked higher, but the person kind of the way it was set up, the people.
Politics, favoritism?
No. Heat.
The heat. The people that were.
Yeah.
So they couldn't take it.
No. There was a person that was there strictly for the heat one. And everybody's palate was blown.
I heard this story.
Yeah.
I actually did hear this.
Yeah, it's made with linguiça and kidney beans, I think.
So,
leaning to
No. This is leading up to something that I think we're going to do next. How do you two feel about a 3 Dudes Brews chili showdown?
Maybe.
I have no problem.
I'll make a vegan chili. I'll make a vegan chili.
And
You'll all like it.
this guy's got jokes, folks.
Let's talk about this down east pumpkin blend.
Yes.
I heard dragon, but yeah, we get some more.
Let's talk about this 5.1% blend of apples, pumpkins, and chai spices.
I like down east.
I definitely get the pumpkin.
Now, I like down east.
Oh, you like the...
No, we'll get to that. To me, this isn't one of my favorites from them. But I do like down east.
They're drier ciders, so much better.
They're winter blends.
But there's something sweet about this.
It's on the sweeter side, especially for down east.
Side. And then those chai spices, they're just very subtle. They're kind of mellow. They're kind of like lingering in the back. And I'm like,
it's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is my favorite of their offerings. It's definitely not my least favorite of their offerings.
It's still
We're not going to mention any names like their slushies, but it's good.
Shots fired.
It's good. It's shot fired. And again, it goes back to not everything is for everybody.
Right.
But there is something for everything.
Your slushies, I know.
See, there you go. She likes the slushies.
I kind of love these.
I might wake up with a headache, but I'm going to love every second of it.
So, as far as the cider offerings go, this is definitely up there. I just don't, for me, it's not my favorite of theirs.
And I think the pumpkin is subtle. It's not very overpowering. It's not very in your face. It's there. It's letting you know that it's there. And it's not overburden me. It's not overpower.
I think that's the spices stand out the most.
The chai definitely comes out more than
You have 3
anything.
different things going on here. You have apple,
And the apple.
pumpkin, and chai, and I think that they're all equally balanced.
Oh yeah.
So I think that it adds, it adds up to 100%. You know, you got 3 different things going on, and we are definitely
So
good with this one.
She's so feverish.
So you guys can't see, but I got BB under the table here, chomping away at something. So
Hands on a beer. Yeah.
this one, I'm not gonna lie. The next one, the Black Pond Brews, I've been looking forward to this one.
Oh yeah.
So since Costa said he was going to get this one, I've been really wanting to try this one.
Search high and search low.
It's a sour ale.
The, what I would qualify as the best ciders in our area.
Really?
Yes.
And let me tell you, it's not it's an easy place to get to, folks. So Rhode Islanders, please, I've said this before. Rest outside of your 15-minute
right
commute
over
zone.
the Killingly line. It's like 15
It's like
minutes
extra
over.
Foster.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Exactly.
Extra Foster.
Drive down.
It
It's a
is.
straight shot. You just drive. It gets.
And it's a beautiful drive. Like that
Yeah,
area
it
is
is.
just lovely right now.
It's got, you can't really see too much
Ooh.
as far
Look at the
as
pretty.
This is definitely the haziest. I think, of
effervescence
all.
goes.
Mm.
It's definitely got some beautiful lacing in the glass. It almost looks like grapefruit
Oh, it is a sour.
IPA.
Wow.
The description on it is a sour ale brewed with apples, cinnamon, apple cider donuts, and lactose. So that lactose should be giving it more of a creamy, smooth mouthfeel to this.
Yeah.
I get the lactose on the end.
Yeah.
I get that on the
Oh, yeah.
back end. I get that on the finish. It is great though. It's definitely drier.
Mm.
It's definitely sour.
Yeah.
Compared to the others we've had.
I don't think I'm getting the cider donut though.
I don't get
I can't say I'm getting any cider donut on
But I'm getting the
cinnamon.
lactose. I'm getting
Yeah,
the,
I'm definitely getting, and it's only a 4.7 ABV,
Yeah.
so it is on the lower end.
I feel like it tastes water, honestly, more than anything. I mean, there's a lot of
You feel it?
flavor and stuff and sour, but I can almost taste like the water that he's using. Maybe because
It's
the
too
light.
country.
Well,
It's too country.
Maybe thin.
Yeah, it's very thin. Yeah.
Well, it sounds strong. Like
No.
No, but it's easy drinking.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
where you say, you're not getting, yes, it's thinner in consistency and mouthfeel. It's definitely a thinner drink.
Mm.
And it's definitely crisp and dry.
I like the cider taste. The sour
gets you in the
taste.
front,
Sour
the beginning,
taste
right?
is really good.
And like I said, I'm really getting that lactose at the end. A little bit of the cinnamon, but
It's very light.
it's
though.
good.
Very light.
It's
But it is light. But
But I gotta say that with the description, there's a lot in that description, and I was expecting a little more flavor punch for it.
Mhm.
It's good, but I was expecting more cinnamon. I was
More
expecting
presence.
a little more of the
Right.
flavor.
you think it's more sour than anything?
I
Yeah.
would say it's more sour.
And
Yeah,
the
subtle-
lactose.
subtle.
And I think it's hard
See,
to
I'm-
follow up with something that had the hard cider, the
I'm liking.
brown sugar, the spices. The first one we had, like that, did have a lot of different.
Well, that's just
again, we're not
Totally
at this
different
point. We're not
tastes.
comparing apples to
I
apples.
know.
no, definitely not. This
So
round,
this is
this round, everybody stands on the top.
Oh, yeah.
broad spectrum, and we're what qualifies it as a cider. So you got one that's got pumpkin in it. You got one that's got donuts. You got one that's got brown sugar and spices, and then you got Ed's jellies that we're about
I
to.
know, boogers.
Let me tell you though, with this, I really think though, like you said, they're all very different.
They
This
are
round.
so different.
Very, very different.
For sure.
But I'm digging the lactose flavor at the end.
Yeah,
I'm digging
I-
the finish on this. I
I
really am.
love sours. I'm a sour kind of guy. I love that pucker factor. I love the lactose. It gives you that creamy mouthfeel.
Mhm.
I love that in different types of styles of beers or whatever.
Mhm.
And I could definitely see myself just, cracking milk and drinking it, sitting out by the fire pit and just,
Sorry, you didn't drink.
very,
So-
very easy to drink.
Mm.
We
The
have
fruit smoothie style sour makes
Right?
sense to me. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
and let me tell you,
And again, I love the name.
they've got some great beers down there. They really, really do. You know,
I think that they're very underrated.
I think they're unknown out here. I don't want to say underrated. Because I think that the folks that have managed to make the trek, that know about them, really appreciate them.
But
You know, so I hadn't heard of them. Yeah, exactly. I hadn't heard of them until we went out there.
Right.
But that's why we do this. That's why we're doing this, folks. We're doing this to bring you guys something new and something different.
we're exploring the craft beer spectrum, the craft beer map,
Yeah.
and what's out there, what's available, who's got what, and bringing you our opinions on all of these different breweries and all of these different types and styles of beer that we have. Again, these are just our opinions, but there's 3 of us for today, and each one of us has a different perspective. You know, so if your perspective, if your taste falls in line with one of us, then
And great.
you know, you may agree with us, you may not agree with us, but it's an opinion.
We're like that. Excuse us, folks. Again, we've got dogs, right?
Yeah.
3 dudes have 3 dogs.
So it's kind of like, you know, the boy bands where everybody's got their favorite.
All right.
So, without further ado, I've been looking forward to bringing this out.
Release the beer, Ed.
So this is controversial. This is going to spark this.
If this wasn't my own table, I'd flip it.
He might flip it afterward after I break it out. Now, regardless of what comes out of this bag, folks, you are all going to taste, and that goes for our live studio audience. You are going to partake.
Gentlemen, ladies,
And let me tell you, I've been looking forward to this. You have no idea how much this has taken for me to keep my mouth shut.
that takes a lot.
A lot. Okay. So, you know where this is going tonight.
That's right here.
Right there?
Right in there.
It's not going to happen. So, this is another offering from 1911. So, we're in fall. Halloween's coming around the corner. What is the most controversial candy you folks can think of?
Candy corn?
That's right.
Oh, I love candy corn.
Corn.
I love candy corn.
Applesauce.
Candy corn.
Hell yeah.
well, it's hard.
1911's Double Toil and Trouble Candy Corn.
It's like insane.
69%. That's
So,
crazy.
6.9%.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, I told you it was going to spark discussion. And yes, our studio audience is going to partake.
It's a 6
I
on the
don't care.
sweetness scale, whatever that is.
So, I have plenty to
Not
go
one,
around.
but 2.
So, I have tasted this. I have had it. And let me tell you,
This is-
I can't wait
Wait,
to get their take.
will you share your perspective first or no?
No.
You're holding
No,
out.
because I don't want to bias your opinion. So I want to know what you guys think.
So on a scale of sweetness scale, 1 to 6, this is a 7.
Oh, God.
So-
Yeah.
You may have it.
Oh, folks.
You might have it with sweet.
Again,
Zero with.
It's gluten free though, so
Oh, wow, it smells.
so buddy, I'm assuming you're not a candy corn person.
I hate it. Yeah. So Heather made a brownie. She'd call them, I sit myself brownies because they had candy corn in them. They had like corn
Oh,
syrup.
this is great.
They had like awful candies on them, and as soon as you ate one, and you were in the toilet. So since then, I've hated it.
Cheers to
They don't
that.
care. Pass that on over there too. Cheers. Pass that on to our studio audience.
Oh, studio audience.
Pass that on to the studio audience.
There you go.
So,
Oh, man.
Heather is like,
so, Costas, where do you stand on candy corn?
as a fat kid trapped in a skinny man's body, I used to eat anything that wasn't tied down. You know, my grandmother had the bowl of, you know, the rocks candies and all that stuff. So I grew up eating
Warner's
candy
original.
corn. I grew up eating like those Laffy like all the tabbies and stuff like that. So
I hate them, but you can't say no.
like the foam peanuts.
No. See, I don't do circus peanuts.
I've eaten
Those bright orange circus peanuts.
Yeah.
Zoe, where do you stand on candy corn?
I love candy corn. I'm
So
so
do I.
excited.
I used to eat the
love
wax.
candy
I
corn.
used to eat wax
Love it.
lips. I used to eat
Oh,
wax
oh,
bottles.
the bottles, the juice in them. I used to chew it up and
Yes.
make it into a ball.
So candy
Fun time.
corn
It's a fun time. But
is one of those things. It is probably the most controversial Halloween candy, in my opinion, that's out there. Either there are two camps, two schools of thought. Either you love it or you hate it.
it's
And the people that hate it with a passion.
I so like candy corn. I love this.
So
it's so scrumptious.
when I saw
Love vanilla.
this,
Love this. It's got this vanilla marshmallow. It's just not candy corn. I know what candy corn tastes like. Candy
I
corn
think it
tastes
tastes
A little bit like
Candy
that. Yeah.
so I didn't think it tasted like candy corn myself.
No.
But it has this sweetness of candy corn.
Yeah.
It really does. It's got some great flavor. Now, you haven't seen me take a sip yet, but I've already had a can because I couldn't help myself. So
It's sick. It's twisted, but I absolutely.
I saw this at the store, and I knew we were doing this challenge. And I saw this, and I said, I have got to get this can. And I knew none of the other two were going to get it.
Right.
Oh, hell no.
And if they'd even seen it,
Seen it.
okay, so there you go.
Turned my nose up on it.
Exactly. So I saw it, and
And I am mistaken.
I had to get it.
I appreciate the
Ingenuity?
ingenuity. I appreciate the something
Definitely
different.
marshmallow.
Something different.
Oh, yeah.
But it's yeah, I don't like it.
It is
No.
sweet.
It's very sweet.
Very
I'll drink
sweet.
more of
It
it,
is
but
candy.
Told you he'll drink.
I'll drink till it's gone.
See, that's
There are some children in India who would love to be
Yeah.
drinking this right now. So
you missed the
For the children
prohibition.
in
I
India.
was like, oh.
I'm doing them a favor.
Instead, there are sober children. Oh,
I hope.
but I think personally, this is definitely the sweetest out of everything we've had today.
When I put
Oh,
these two together,
absolutely.
the cinnamon donut one,
Oh,
Right.
those
and then
must.
this one here.
Yeah.
It's because we have that American palate. We have no
It is.
contrast of what sweetness is.
It is definitely on the sweeter side, Lord. But
I gotta tell you though, I mean, I
like it, right?
I'm really in love with what 1911
Mhm.
is putting out there. It may not be your traditional
no,
straight up apple cider.
Right. It's different.
There's a lot of different flavor profiles going on.
Mhm.
and there's enough people doing the traditional already.
Right. Everybody, there's
Right.
so many different traditionals. Okay, with a beer, there's so many people doing different beers. Like,
I don't know.
right? Well,
A lot of them are just doing just IPAs these days.
right, IPAs. Well, people are starting to go with sours.
But you
and
took that personally.
some of the,
What?
Nothing.
you know, you have like the Czechs, the Pilsners, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. People
There's a lot of stuff.
I think people are pulling back,
Mhm.
and they're starting to do the Czech Pilsners, the Marzens, the
Like a
Brown
Marzen.
Advice. You know, especially this time of year,
Oh.
it's Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
We're filming now, and it's mid October. You know, so you're getting a lot of those Bavarian, German type of Oktoberfest beers, which are fantastic for this type of year, this season. You know, this season, this season, you know, this time of year, I should say, not
Yeah.
time of year, time of year. And they're fantastic beers. But I think people are pulling back from. There's so much overload and so many doubles and triples and just even
New England IPAs.
New England
Oh.
IPAs, West Coast IPAs. Oh
My
my god,
It's way longer. You know, I'm a double IPA guy.
Yes, you are.
I love the sweet. I love the explosive plain taste. I had a triple today at Trillium. It was Death Metallic or Death Metal.
Mhm.
Right? Metal's one of their doubles, and Death Metal was that triple. There's like 10.5, and it was way too much. I had a little bit. I had one of these, the 5 ounce. I could not get a full pour of that. It was just way too much for me. Because as I get older, there's that line starting to appear.
Too
now.
much funk.
Yeah, way too much funk. Dude, way too much funk.
So,
Even this is way too. I mean, it's delicious.
well,
Way too much sweetness to it.
well, that's just it. I
This
think
is like your taco.
I know.
Right.
It's disgusting.
he doesn't hate it all that much.
It's not that.
Don't let him fool you.
It's just terrible.
You know, but like I said,
I know.
I think the candy corn, it's really because of the sweetness. You get that marshmallow note in there, which I think is fantastic.
Right.
And I think it's a good thing we say this to the end because it's very, very sweet,
controversial.
very controversial. I wanted to talk us. I wanted to.
I think it's
have
one of those
discussion.
things where people they hate it because they're told they hate it.
Yes,
Like pineapple on pizza.
which I love.
Like Nickelback.
No, Nickelback
Love
sucks.
Nickelback.
Nickelback
I love
sucks.
Nickelback.
Hold on, Nickelback.
Wait a minute.
Deadpool.
We're getting off
You got to see Deadpool's.
topic.
You got to see You got to see Deadpool's take on Nickelback. We may have some in there, but anyway. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to tally up the scores, and we're going to come back. We're going to wrap this thing up, and we're going to tell you how round 3 went.
This one's gonna be naturalistic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stick with us.
Clap.
All right, so here we are. Ready for the results of round 3. You notice we didn't bother doing any more cleanup because it's the last round.
There's nothing left for us to do.
Yeah,
So,
That's all, folks.
with that said, Zoe, how did we do with third round? Drum roll.
So, the 1911 New York Cider Donuts was 17, first place.
Out of 20.
17 out of 20. Nice.
Yep, and then Downey Cider from Boston was 14. Ed's Secret Surprise was 13.5, and then Black Pond Brews was 12.5
wow.
I'm not going to lie, the candy corn, I'm
The candy
not
corn
going to lie, I was
nice.
expecting it to finish dead last.
Wow.
Me too.
I love candy corn.
You know, so for me, I had Down East and I had Black Pond tie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had 1911. Both of their offerings I had tied,
Okay.
which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, it just goes to show again that how everybody's different. But we have the results for round 3
Yeah.
and
Our top one from each round was Trillium's Daily Serving, Newport's Rhode Coyote, and 1911.
so
What were their scores?
Trillium's was 19.5.
So just
They're
that's
the
about a
one of the
perfect
same.
score
They
for
were
Trillium.
as close as we ever got to perfect.
the funny thing is that they weren't even like, I don't want to say true cider.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
they use enough apples, folks, to qualify. Let me
Yeah.
tell you. But
And
it was
You know.
surprising. I didn't think that one was going to take the top spot.
it was so good. Yeah, it was so good. And then in Six Pack came in second place with 19, but
That's a
Close mark.
pretty damn close.
Pretty good mark.
half an
Yeah.
apple. But Newport Rhodey's Coyotes was in our first round, and they were 16.5.
What?
So still really good. And
So-
obviously 9/11, 1911, 17.
So we did them by rounds, and we compared them by rounds because we kind of grouped them in like the same. We wanted everything to be close,
Right.
so we didn't want to have something in a category. I don't want to say category, but we didn't want to put one in a round where we didn't think it was going to match
A
well.
lightweight versus
Yeah. So more traditional in the first round, a little bit different in the second round, and then the third round was the wheels are off the cart, folks.
anything.
Well, but
The apple cart is kind of telltale.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's what we did, and then like I said, so the top 3, those are the winners from each round, and that's how they ranked. And I think overall, all in all, it was a good night. I mean, really, every single one of them, I would go out and buy again and again and again. I didn't think there was anything that we had today that I would say no. Well,
Oh,
listen, says the man who drank the entire can.
I
Yeah,
know.
Yes.
right. So
Says the guy who's going for a second pour.
take that for what it's worth, folks.
my goodness gracious.
You're right.
Now, mind you, during our research and development on this, we did go out to many different breweries and cideries, and we selected what we believed were the top tier ciders to compete in this. There were some where they just didn't make the cut. We tried them and they weren't up to par, and that's just based on our opinions. You know,
Do we have any honorable mentions?
honorable mentions? Yeah, absolutely. For me, I have the guild makes an outstanding apple pie seltzer. It is not.
Oh, right.
It is not. And we tried this over the last few years.
But it's damn good.
You know, and the first time we tried it, I want to say it was 2 years ago during the brewski, and you know, I ordered it because I love apples. So I tried it, and I smelled it.
Straight like apple pie.
And I was like, ooh. And then everybody just looked at me like, come on, dude, it's a seltzer.
Yeah. I don't drink seltzers.
And then I tried it, and it was like,
what?
and then everybody's like, come on, dude,
I drink theirs.
it's a seltzer. And then you pass the cup, and everybody else had the same exact reaction.
Oh, damn.
Surprising.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely have to give an honorable mention to the guild and their apple pie seltzer. Yes, definitely worth trying when they do release it. If and when they do release it, you definitely have to go out and try it. I would also say that, and again, he hates it. He
Hates it. It's terrible.
He hates it.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's his fourth glass of candy cider,
Rad.
and he's doing it so that way the rest of us don't
Don't have to suffer.
Yeah, he's taken with
Right.
Yeah, not all heroes wear capes.
Right.
Sometimes they wear
Thank you
Metallica
for your
shirts.
service.
God, it's terrible.
We appreciate you.
Oh, I feel like I'm getting weaker as a.
Yes. I would also have to say that White Dog Distilling. Okay, they make
I know where you're going with this.
Everything.
an apple ginger mule, which is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's out of this world. They use local Jaswell Farms apple cider.
Cider.
to make
That's
this.
really cool.
Yeah, oh, so good.
On a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 7.
Yeah, it's
You really have to go down to
Lot of
White Dogs Distilling. It's at 560 Meadows, 29, Nantucket, Rhode Island. And you definitely have to go see Carlo and Alicia, and you definitely have to try the apple mule. You will not be disappointed.
And that's in the same plaza as Cruz
It's Crooked
Current
Pie, yeah.
and
That is
This Guy's Pie.
a guy in his pocket.
A guy in his pie.
Ming's Wings.
Oh, and there's a little
Fantastic.
bakery in there too.
Bakeries.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like an
It's a cool spot to hang out, and you could spend hours.
Sensational
there.
sweets.
Get drunk.
I think-
Food.
Yeah.
So-
And there's a public restroom.
So I actually got to meet. I actually met the owner of Sensational Sweets.
No way.
Yeah. So I was actually sitting in White Dog having a cocktail. She came in, grabbed something, and we sat and we talked for a few minutes. She's a great woman. Forgive me. I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. If anybody you know me, I'm horrible with names.
Right.
But she was absolutely a sweetheart, fantastic. And if you get a chance, try stuff out. Yeah, I've had their cake jars.
Wow.
And they're
And they have
great.
infused cupcakes and stuff with like
Yes,
shots
little
of
shots.
Ooh.
Yeah, little pipettes. Yeah.
It's fun.
Now, do you guys have any other honorable mentions for?
I don't. Other than no, I really don't. I mean, like I said, I think if there was one that somebody was going to try in the area, I would say definitely the Down East Winter Blend. To me, that's I've said it before. That's their favorite. That's my favorite.
Is that the
one
white
that they put out?
plant can?
No,
Okay.
I want to say it's like a black and red.
Yeah, there's a few others that
Yeah.
could have been included, but they're not local, and we wanted to keep this.
We wanted to keep it as local as possible.
there's-
Yeah.
There's Smith and Forge. There's Henry Orchard. Those are
We
all.
want to talk mass market.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
mass market.
Yeah.
Those are not locally based. So they're not New England.
Smithwick's.
Yeah, Smithwick's. Yeah.
Smithwick's.
Those are not to me. Those are mass market. Those are Those are the cores like Bud Lights and cider.
Right.
So we didn't want to include those.
Which is not to say they're not for somebody out
Right,
there.
right.
I drink. Don't get me wrong.
They're a reliable, easy choice.
Just
But
not for what we wanted to do here today.
But yeah.
And
Right.
yeah.
But with that being said, for Ed and Buddy. This is Costas from 3 Dudes.
And our special lady here,
Zoe,
Zoe.
yes,
Nice
Zoe.
to meet
My
you.
daughter Zoe.
Mhm.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this as we sip on some fantastic local ciders. And please look forward to our next episode where we will be doing a pumpkin beer throwdown.
Ooh, pumpkin beers.
The pumpkin
Again,
smash.
controversial
Yes.
pumpkin smash.
Yes.
All right, guys.